Hello, my name is Mwalamu Kwabena Osei Nkromo. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of the House of Amen, which is a new evangelical ministry based here in Atlanta, Georgia. The House of Amen is an offshoot of liberation theology school of thought known as Black Christian nationalism. Black Christian nationalism was created and developed by the founder of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, Jaramogi Ebebe Ajiman, who's known by many others as the Reverend Albert B. Cleage, Jr. We began the House of Amen as an effort to further evolve the what is really a original African-American faith system that was born out of the cauldron of revolutionary activity of the 50s and 60s into the 70s in Detroit, Michigan. So I'm not going to talk a lot tonight about the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, but I just wanted to understand the foundations of what the House of Amen comes out of. It's a continuation of a legacy and a heritage that I am an heir to as a student of Jaramogi Ebebe Ajiman. I was a member of the Shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church for over 20 years, and I'm still associated with the church. But I was called into this ministry after 20 years of service to essentially explore and experiment about what else could be done in a contemporary environment with the foundations of Black Christian nationalism. As I understand the theology as articulated by Reverend Cleage, that this theology was supposed to be taken out into the world and given to the Black church as a way of trying to bring the church back into relevancy in the lives of African Americans and to provide a platform for the development of independent and self-sufficient communities across this nation. In 2011, the institution that Jaramogi founded himself is still with us. But there are some opportunities, in my understanding, to do new things. And so this effort of the House of Men is not a rejection of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. It's hopefully a beautiful and helpful evolution of Black Christian nationalism. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about the ministry statement of purpose, which should be posted shortly on whatever form you're watching this video, whether it be our Facebook fan page or our blog. But I wanted to try to talk to you a little bit about the statement of purpose as opposed to you just reading it, to try to provide a little context. And then I also wanted to answer a few questions or issues that were raised following the announcement of our inaugural function or service that we're going to have tomorrow, Sunday, May 1st. So again, this is an evangelical movement. It's a movement. We are not establishing a church at this moment. It can best be said that we're heralding the coming of the House of Amen, or the coming of the actual community or church. Where we are now is just a group of believers, seekers, who are trying to understand exactly what this call is for our generation. Interestingly enough, we also moved to do this movement in another denominational framework, which I'll talk about more later on. But the theology itself is hungry for a freer ecclesiastical framework from which to experiment about what Black Christian nationalism means in our time and for our generations. And so for the moment, we are actually not operating within the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. We are working within the context of another original American faith system called Unitarian Universalism. And again, at another time, I'll talk more about why this choice was made and why it's important. But I wanted to be clear that this is not a activity of the Shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, but it is inspired and certainly part of the heritage of the greater movement of Black Christian nationalism. So this evangelical movement, the House of Amen, it's a diverse effort to essentially expand, evolve, and act as a revival campaign for Black liberation theology. We encourage seekers to follow their own spiritual paths. The movement, the Black liberation theology, came out of a collective effort of Black thinkers, faith leaders, to find a way to understand and articulate the Black religious experience within the American context of racism, oppression, and Jim Crow and the like. In 2011, we still have many of these conditions prevalent with us, in spite or the election of the first African American president of the United States. So our iteration of liberation theology does not negate the reality of still the conditions of oppression and the need for liberation of Black people, but it does take into account the advances that have been made in the society since the time of the middle of last century, which is when a lot of the Black liberation theology thought, including Black Christian nationalism, originated. 50, 60 some years later, for us to continue to be operating under the same paradigm, under the same understanding, is not only potentially regressive, it's also doesn't really, it's not really logical. That things would not have changed enough to reconsider what it means to be called for revolutionary struggle within a religious context in America. And so we are trying to take taking into account that there are more opportunities to act if you're a Black nationalist, or if you're interested in nation building for Black people, if you're interested in creating self-sufficiency for African American people in America. Things have changed. We say that unequivocally, that things have changed, things are not the same. Now, are we free? Are we equal? No. But things are not the same, and we need a process and a willingness to identify and determine what those changes are, so that we understand them on a rational basis, and certainly do not embrace this notion that somehow, everything is all right. Things are not all right. We're not there yet. The kingdom has not come. But the kingdom is coming. And what that coming means is what we seek to try to understand, particularly for our generation. So we house this activity within a denomination called the Unitarian Universalists, because we are seeking the freedom to essentially, not have any restraints on the possibilities that are available in the world. We're interested in possibilities. We're interested in things that can be done. We're not interested in focusing on what can't be done.